Hallelujah. I come from a village close to Central Region Cape Coast, and when I was growing up, I had the opportunity to serve my grandfather. In our village and around the community, there was too much respect for my grandfather to the extent that you cannot say anything that you can interfere or to change it. His words carry power. He had opportunity to, advising our first president, Anderson-Aidoo, and also advising one of the great chiefs in the Fanti area called Aseba Memphis. So he's well known and also respected. But after his death, something unusual began to unfold, be happening in the family. And so I took notice of it, and I took my time to pray diligently about the situation. One day, as I was sleeping, the Lord took me to the house and began to reveal deeper things about the house. I kept those information. Other things the Lord was telling me, talking about the early, the early 90s or even before the 90s. Those revelations were coming. It was bothering me, but there was nothing I could do. One day my dad called me and said, I know you have information that you are hiding and you are not telling me. I said, which information do you want to know? He said, what do you know about your grandfather's house? I said, why are you asking me this question? Then he said, my father said, it don't mean that you have information you are not telling me. I said, okay, if you want to know, I will tell you. So I spoke to him exactly the dream that I had. And my dad looked at me quietly and he said, you have no idea what you are telling me. Because some of the things that you saw, I have a knowing. But to you, you have no idea the things that God showed to you. So from that day, my dad kept on bothering me, knowing that I am a praying man and also the Lord speaks to me. And it happened that things began to go worse after the old man died. Too many pain, too many cry, too many questions. Not that the old man didn't introduce the children to Christ. He had a prayer room in the family. It's a family home. They built a house for all the siblings. There were 12, so there was a house they built, and they all have rooms over there. So there was a prayer room in that house every Easter, the Good Friday to the Easter Monday. My grandfather would tell you that if you are not coming for the Easter, you bring my grandchildren. Because my dad and the siblings saw them were outside the village, so he would ask them to come. So when they come, my grandfather would take time to the Friday, the Good Friday, we would do service in the morning, service in the evening, Saturday, service in the morning, in the evening, and this old man will be prophesying. This old man will give detailed things. He didn't go to school. He will tell you that write this thing. It's going to come after I'm gone. It's going to come after I'm gone. So that was how I got to know that people can hear God through my grandfather. She didn't go to school, but when he began to prophesy, he will quote things that you will begin to wonder, how did he go to know all these things? So this man, I'm trying to say that somehow have a knowing of God and had a relationship with God. So my dad was wondering, what happened that after his death, his children and grandchildren are passing through some mysterious death and divorces and all manner of business losses and painful issues. And my dad was questioning that, what is it that these things are appearing after the passing of the old man? I know we come from different backgrounds and we have noticed some things in our life and some patterns that we have observed in our families that somehow you see things but you don't know how the destiny began and when is this issue going to end. Issues like in a family, you see that the woman finds difficult to marry. Issues like people struggle to have financial freedom. Issues like people are not able to, find, good job or education-wise, they are not able to go anywhere. And so, certain situations and certain conditions are peculiar to certain families and certain people. And you might have observed or seen some things and overlook it because to you, everybody goes through things. And everybody goes through things because maybe the person didn't go to school or didn't have the opportunity to be in a big city to be able to get a good job. No. Things go on behind the scene that are not revealed physically for you to know why this person is going through what he's going through. There are challenges in life, there are battles in life, there are situations that others go through that you have no idea. Sometimes you look at them and you think that they are lazy or they are not serious. But if God is open your eye to see the cry of that person day and night, that there will be an emancipation or there will be a freedom for him to be able to also enjoy certain life that other people are enjoying. You might think that the person is happy of the condition or situation he is in. But trust me, he's the only person who knows the challenges and the pain that you go through in the night. When he is left alone in the house and nobody is there. When he stays alone in the workplace or in the midst of friends, it's like he is in an island. Many people are there, but he's alone because what he is going through is unexplainable. It cannot be explained. So in the midst of people are shouting, but his voice has been shut down. His voice has been shut down. And you look at a person, very prominent person, very noble person. You look at a person, when he started school, he was doing well. But what happened? Something has gone on behind the scene, unnoticed, and gradually eating the person's destiny and life up to the extent that the person is growing and he doesn't see any headway in life. You might even see a glimpse of some blessing, but you realize that whilst you are working and some blessings are coming, the pain of losing everything every month, every week, and it's like you are always back to square one. I don't know who I am talking to. Give me the book of Daniel chapter 12, 1-3. Daniel chapter 12, there is a story that God revealed unto Daniel, and I will read from 1 to 4, 3, but because of time, let me go straight to verse 3. God was telling Daniel to write certain information of what is yet to happen, and it is not an information that you can easily access to read. You need an increase of knowledge and understanding to be able to assess that condition and to be able to override or overtake advantage of the situation. And so the prophecy came to Daniel, and he started writing. And when you go to verse 3, it said, and that be wise, and they that are wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they turn many into righteousness as the stars of forever and ever. Then the verse 4, listen what it said. Verse 4, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Even to the time of the end. What I am revealing to you is for you to hear, but not for you. It is an information that will be relevant in the coming months and the coming years and the time of tribulation. The mysteries has to be sealed because it's a vital information that will affect the whole world. And Daniel, I am trusting you to write this information, but don't open it up. To the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. So life will go on, and people will be asking questions. Until the knowledge of understanding comes, they will not be able to access the information. Give me verse 9. Listen to verse 9. Verse 9. And he said, go that way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed to the time of the end. These are mysteries that God chose to seal it. There are many things that you are questioning, and you don't have answer because it is sealed, or it's a hidden information that you have no idea how did this issue started. How did we come to this level? Why are we going through what we are going through? There is a hidden mystery. And that mystery, you need an understanding to be able to assess it and to be able to deal with it. Like I was using my grandfather's issue, and I said, I pray earnestly, pray seriously over it. And I told my dad that, look at your siblings and their children. Your children are different. There are things that your siblings and their children have gone through. Check out with your children. You look at me and said, you are right. You are right. Because when God gave me the opportunity to know, I didn't play with it. I prayed earnestly because something is not right. Are you saying that when you prayed everything was okay? Not really. Because it's a mystery, not everything was folded. And so you pray according to what you know. And as the Lord reveals, you begin to deal with it. People have gone through pain. People have killed themselves. People have divorced. People have gone through, financial issue, all manner of sickness. And it doesn't make sense. Why? Because they are not evil. They are not doing something bad for them to be able to go through the challenges they have gone through. Yet they have gone through. Or they are still going through. It doesn't make sense because what did I do? What did I do? Why am I going through what I'm going through? There's no answer to it because the mystery is close up. The mystery is close up. One day, the prophet Elijah had opportunity to stand for God. Looking at the circumstance that the house of Israel had turned their back on God and serving other gods, and the prophet looked at the situation and made a declaration that this evil that is going on, by my words, there shall not be any rain, no dew, 3 years. There shall not be any dew, no rain. And as he said, it happened. Don't just underrate people's words. Whatever you are going to, it might be words that was spoken. Don't underrate, because you think everybody is like it's a human being. No. There are people who are the oracles of God. There are people who carry the voice of God to the extent that when they speak, heaven hears. Don't underrate or just bring everybody to your standard that this is my body, this is my friend. No, you are making a mistake. There are people God ordained on this surface earth, and there are people who are still living. They are the voice of God. When they speak, heaven hears. And in the other round, in the wilderness, there are powers, evil people. They orchestrate things based on what they believe it has to happen in that family. So many families are under slavery and under certain spells, certain curses, certain dangers. Not because they are evil, but somebody spoke a word. Elijah spoke a word and it happened exactly. And so 3.5 years there was no rain, there was no water, and it was like the people were suffering. And one day the king's servant had opportunity to meet the prophet, and he said, hey, the king is looking after you. And all manner of conversation went on. Finally, he said, I want to meet the king. He met the king and said, the king said, you have trouble, Israel. He said, no, it's not me. I have no trouble. It's your situation, your lifestyle, you people. And so he challenged them to a contest. He said, I want to prove that there's a God in Israel. Call all your prophets. Call all your people. Let us meet on Mount Carmel. Let's meet. And let us call upon God. And the God that you call, that answer is God. If you call Baal and Baal answer, I will say that he's God. And so he threw a challenge, and the challenge that Cain accepted because he believed in his prophets. He believed that they are so powerful that he has literally, this guy doing wonders. And so for Elijah to throw that challenge, it wasn't a problem. If it was a problem, the man would not make a mistake to call the people to come around. He believed the prophets of Baal. So he gathered them and they met. And gave them the opportunity and said, call upon your God. And the people called upon God the whole day. And he was mocking, oh, your God has traveled, your God is sleeping, your God maybe is conversing. I mean, yeah. And the people did everything. To the evening, there was no voice. So he pushed them aside. He said, dig a trench for me. Dig it up. Dig it up. And he took 12 stones, representing the tribe of Israel. Then he made an altar. And he said, you put a bullock. I gave you opportunity to take a bullock and to sacrifice. There was no fire that came. Put this bullock on my altar. Put 4 drums of water. So they put 4 drums of water on the sacrifice. So do it again, 4 times. Then he said, he called upon God and fire came. And when the fire came, Elijah seized the prophet and killed them. Now, take me to, 1 Kings chapter 19. When he killed them, then Ahab went home sad and told the wife Jezebel that this is what has happened to our prophet. Listen what happened. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done and how he had slain all the prophets with a sword. Then Jezebel sent a message unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me, and must also, if I make not thy life as the life of the one of them by tomorrow about this time. Whatever you did to them, I will do the same to you. Tomorrow by this time, I'll make sure I take you out. Verse 3. And when he saw that, he arose. This is a man who had been able to kill 400 prophets of Baal. Slew them, slaughtered them with confidence. Just afterwards, a woman comes up and they said, you have done something which your life, you will pay with your life. And Bible said when she said that, and she saw, meaning that it was a written document. He documented that this information, go and give it to him. And if he sees it, you will know that his life also will not be spared, will be destroyed. And when you saw that, when you saw the information, to you and me, if he has killed 400 men, who is this woman, this tiny woman, to threaten this prophet? But the prophet was not looking for that statement alone. The detail of the information, what will happen afterwards, the information he was reading. To the people that sent the information, it was just a simple information. But the prophet of God saw the information. He said, no, this is not an ordinary information. And Bible declared that when he saw, and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and left his servant there, the man started running. A woman has brought a challenge, and that challenge was going to affect his life. One woman, don't underrate people. Listen, don't underrate people. What can you do? Who is he? Really? Don't underrate people. And so, if you look at the situation, the life and the ministry of Elijah didn't go on. From that time, Elijah started running, knowing the magnitude of the sermon, of the sermons that have been summoned unto him. It was a deep information. And so God was trying to encourage him. Arise and eat, for the journey is long. And Bible says God brought him food and he ate, and he went for a 40-day journey, and one food, one meal, one cake. It means that God actually brought him cake and established him, and he had an energy to travel for days. But the man was still not happy that this woman is threatening and want to take my life. And he said, oh, the prophet, I'm the only prophet left. And God said, who told you that? You are not the only prophet left. One woman threatened him. Who is threatening your life? And what is threatening your life? What is making your life miserable? And who is giving you sleepless night? Who's giving you sleepless night? Because you don't have any information, like Elijah saw the information and began to run. He did something, he has to run. Did he die? As the woman said, no. Bible says God took Elijah out of the world without dying, as Jezebel said. But something happened. One day, the disciples of Jesus came to him, and they said, Master, why are the scribes always saying Elijah has to come? And the Master Jesus said, Elijah has already come. They said, really? The people were wondering, when did he come? Elijah didn't come in a physical realm, but Elijah came and took over. Give me the book of Mark chapter 6. Let me start from verse 16. There was testimonies about Jesus. And when he heard the testimonies, when Herod heard about Jesus, he said, John, the man I beheaded, has come back from the dead. 17, let's go. For Herod has sent soldiers to arrest and imprison John as a favor to Herodias. Because of that, let me just explain, and I will jump all the way to 26. There's a story of Herod the king. In his birthday, he threw a party. And in the party, the man had already threw John into prison because John was disturbing the king, Herod, that why will you marry your brother's wife? And the queen was angry that John was disturbing him. And so John had a heart for the kingdom. So he will not stop talking. And so the king also loved John, because many things that John has told him. So he had much respect for John. So for you to be safe in the eyes of the people, he took John and put him in prison. And when he put him in prison, on his birthday, Bible says that the people that he invited came. And there was, a celebration. And all of a sudden, the queen's daughter, also called Herodias, the same name as the mother, started dancing. And the little girls danced and danced and danced. And the king was so happy and took the girl and said, what do you want me to do for you? Then she went to the mother and said, what do you want me to ask Dad? He said, tell Dad that you need the head of John the Baptist. This is a man, the Bible says he came in the spirit of Elijah. Take me to chapter 1, 15 and 16. Mark 1, Luke 1, sorry. Luke 1. Luke 1, 15, 16. I should think so. That there was a story talking about, John the Baptist coming in there. $16. And he will tell me into the, okay, 17. You will be a man with the spirit and power of what? You will be a man with the spirit and the power of what? Elijah. So he's talking about John having the spirit and the power of Elijah. The spirit of Elijah has possessed the man. Now take me back. Now take me to verse 26. So the woman demanded, take me to Mark 6, 26. Because of time, I'm jumping. Please give me time. I'm just jumping. Then the king deeply regretted what he had said. But because of the vows he had made in front of his guests, he couldn't refuse her. He regretted because he loves John. So he regretted to ask the girl, what do you want? Verse 27. Verse 27. So he immediately sent an executioner to the prison to cut off John's head and bring it to him. The soldiers beheaded John in the prison. Listen to verse 28. And brought the head on a tray and gave it to the girl, who took it to her mother. You remember Jezebel was the wife of the king. And Jezebel was the one who said, as you slaughtered these people, you shall also be what? Be slaughtered. A word that was spoken for so many years, manifested in different years, not in the same manner. You are going through something that was spoken so many years. But because you came from that lineage, you carry the spirit of the lineage, and as a result, there is a demand for your life, there is a demand for your destiny, there is a battle and the condition you are going through. You are looking at, what did I do? What did I do? Why am I going through what I'm going through? John, yes, he was advising the king that it was not good to marry your brother's wife. But something that had been spoken for years manifested in the life of a man who has no idea what happened in the days of Elijah. I didn't know why he has to be in prison, because the time has come for him to be killed. So that is how the orchestrations in the realms of the things that take place in the spirit realm, you have no idea. That is why you play with life and you play with everything, because you don't know that somebody is pressing some buttons. Some buttons are being pressed. Certain things are taking place and you have no idea. And you believe that everybody goes through things. No. No. Certain things are taking place not because you are evil, but somebody somewhere in the years past has done something that have been sealed, that have been hindered for the knowledge to be seen, to be able to work on it. As a result, it is unfolding year after year, and you have no idea why are we going through what we are going through. Why are we going through what we are going through? I was ministering the same message in a certain church, and the way they prayed, because I believe God wants his children to see his goodness and his blessing, his favor upon their life. But somebody somehow has done something over the years that an evil have been sent out to fight against the people, because the spirit of the person that committed that adultery or that committed that evil was a noble or a figure in the family, such that they have to use that person to affect the bloodline of that generation and generations afterwards. And many things are going on that you have no answer to, because somebody has to unfold the mystery unto you. There is a mystery. There is a mystery. One day in the book of Revelation, John had opportunity to be in the island of Patmos. And in chapter 5 of Revelation chapter 5, suddenly he saw someone on the throne holding vital information. And the Bible says, then I saw a scroll in the right hand of the one who was sitting on the throne. There was a writing on the inside and outside of the scroll. So the man could visualize that something important was in the hands of a man, and it was sealed with 7 seals. Whenever an information is sealed with a seal, it makes it a document that needs to be protected. Not to be opened by ordinary people, because it's a document for a family or for a business, or an information that is not for public. It's not a public information. So they seal it until a judge gives an order to be opened. You need a higher power to give an information for a sealed document to be opened. It doesn't matter. Sealed documents are important information. That is why it has to be sealed. And so John saw this vital information in the hands of a man, but is sealed with 7 seals, meaning that it is impossible for you to be able to access the information to know what is inside that book. Something is being hidden that I need to know. What is it that is hidden? I need to know. I have to have access to the information. Something is being hidden from me. I need to know. Verse 2. Give me verse 2. Give me verse 2. Give me verse 2. Verse 2. Now I saw a strong angel who shouted with a voice, who is worthy to break the seals on this scroll and open it. Verse 3. But no one in heaven or on earth or under the earth was able to open the scroll and to read it. So there was no human being, there was no entity on the surface of the earth, whether in heaven, on earth, or being under the earth. Nobody have the ability, the power to be open that important information. And John was helpless. What happened? Then I began to weep bitterly. I began to weep. When you know that certain information is being hidden from you, and you know, I need to know what is going on. The man had to cry because I have seen that this is a document that needs to be opened for me to know what is inside, what is happening. Then I began to weep bitterly, not just weeping. Some of you pray 1, 2, 3, then you stop. Because you get some salary, you get some small money, so you think it's okay. But if you're able to know the information and to deal with it, or to assess it, it's not only you, your generation afterwards. Amen. Your generation afterwards. So John was not looking to himself only. There's an information vital for the entire world, and it's being hidden. And the man was disturbed. The man was disturbed. How disturbed are you? When you see things going on, how desperate are you that I need to know? What is I need to know? Something is going on. It doesn't make sense. I need to know. I'm being challenged on every side. I don't know why. I need to know. I'm telling you. There are sealed documents, sealed information that if God gives you the ability to know, you will say, wow. This is why all of us are going through what we're going through, because this person in 1805 or 1820 did this, and it has trickled down all the way to 2024. Wow. Something has gone on. In the days of Esther, let me finish with this. One day, the Bible says that they were in captivity. The uncle is called Mordecai, and he happens to serve as a gate man at the gate of the king. And the Bible declares that one day, the king promoted a man called Haman. And the man became so close to the king that everyone was honoring Haman to the extent that they bow when he's coming. But Mordecai decided, I'm not going to bow down to this man. You don't qualify to be bowed to. I will not do it. So the people at the gate continually told Mordecai, listen, you need to honor this man. And Mordecai said, I will not do that. So they reported the issue to Haman. And when Haman heard the information, he went to the king. He was so angry. Give me Esther chapter 3. Let me read from verse 5 and 6. The man was so angry. Instead of dealing with one person, listen what he did. When Haman saw that Mordecai will not bow down or show him respect. He was filled with rage. Verse 6. He had learned of Mordecai's nationality, so he decided it was not enough to lay hands on Mordecai alone. He is the one who is disrespecting you. But he has learned his lineage, where he came from, the nationality. So instead of dealing with one person, instead of, he looked for a way to destroy all the Jews throughout the entire empire of Caesars. So, one person disrespected you. Listen, when you are going through, one person did something which was unusual. And as a result, when Mordecai didn't honor Haman, the story changed. I am not dealing with Mordecai alone. I am dealing with the nationality. And so he went to the king and sought out permission to how to deal with the house of Israel in the captivity. When he went, he gave money to the king. And subtly, the money made the king to just give in and said, do whatever you want to do. And so the guy wrote what you want to accomplish, what you want to carry out. And when he wrote it, and he sent out a copy of the letter, got to the hands of Mordecai. And so, Bible says Mordecai tore down his clothes and put on sackcloth and put on ashes. And those the days in the house of Israel when somebody's mourning grievously, the attitude is they tear up their clothes and put on ashes. So Mordecai, dressed it up that way. At that time, Esther had become queen on a foreign realm. And so Mordecai dressed that way. And they went and told Esther, Esther, your uncle is misbehaving at the gate. Misbehaving at the gate. And so Esther sent out that they should go and find out why is he doing what he's doing. When they went, and said, the queen said, what you are doing is a disgrace to her. So stop what you are doing. And he said, go and tell her. Go and tell her. He thinks he's at the palace there, but his household is at stake. She might think that she's there, but the household of Israel are not safe. And the Bible says she handed over a copy of the letter into the hands of the servant that came. When they gave the letter to Esther, chapter 4, Bible says, chapter 1, verse 1, it said, go and tell my uncle that they should put themselves into a fast. And I will go and meet the king. If I die, I die. Because on the land, if the king has not called for the queen, you don't have the right to go to the king. So it was not time for Esther to go and see the king. But Esther said, you people fast, and me and my servant will also fast. And I'll go and meet the king. Bible says they fasted. And after the fast, Esther stepped into the courts of the king, the palace. When Esther stepped there, Haman was sitting there with the king. And they were having good time. And so, immediately Esther stepped there, the king said, hey, my queen, what do you want? What's happening? Why are you coming? You know how prayer works. The prayer made the king to forget that he has made a decree that if I haven't called you, don't come close to me. Prayer. And Esther went to the king, and the king was so fascinated seeing the queen. He said, what do you want? Why are you here this time? He said, I came to invite you and your friend for a dinner, for to have fun. We have to eat. So, that's good. Is that all what you want? He said, yeah. So, okay, we'll come. So they went. When they went after eating, the queen said, can you come tomorrow too? The king said, sure. Immediately, Haman went and told the friends that I have found favor in the eyes of the king. And the king said, I should come for another dinner. What do you think when I go, I should ask the king? The friend said, you know, Mordecai doesn't respect you. Make gallows and go and tell the king that this man doesn't, so you have to hang him. So they did the gallows before he went to the king. Whilst he was at the court, not knowing in the night, the king could not sleep. And the king went into the history books. And as he was reading the history books, it appeared that Mordecai was working at the gates. And two of the eunuchs of the king decided to kill the king. And Mordecai had told the king about how these people had planned to kill him. And so the king was reading and said, so have we honored this man for saving my life? And they said, no. A document only the king can read. There is a document only the king can read. Only the king. It's a sealed document. When the king read the document, he couldn't sleep again. And he got up and he said, who is walking in the courts? They said, Haman. Say, bring him. He said, Haman, what will you do for the one who has pleased the king? He said, they have to put a robe, your royal robe, and the horse that you ride on. And also the not ordinary horse, the one who has a seal of the king on the horse. Let the man sit on it, and everybody begin to shout for him. He said, go and do for Mordecai. Prayer. Go and do it for him. Then the man was sad. They did it for him. As he was giving instruction, the people came and said, Queen Esther's dinner is ready. You have to come. So he and Haman went. And when you got there, the king said, my queen, I still don't get it. Why are you doing all this? Is there anything on your heart? Is there even half of my king I can give it to you? What is it? He said, king, you see this man over here? He has orchestrated and written a statement to the entire province that they should wipe out all the Jews. He said, what? When was that? He said, this is the man. And the man, the king was so furious that, are you sure? My queen's people, they need to wipe them out? He said, yeah, this is the man. And so the king was angry and he got out. When he got out, Haman was trying to beg. So he was trying to, he bowed down, begging the queen, and the queen was not ready to receive. So he fell on the couch that the queen was sitting in. When the king came in, the man was begging but lying on the queen where the queen was sitting. He said, are you trying to seduce my wife here? Hey! People, come and carry him. Go and hang him. And they hang him on a gallows he has prepared for Mordecai. Church, evil men are still alive today. But to end the whole story, Bible says that after a while, the queen came to the palace again. And the king said, what do you want me to do for you? Take me to Esther chapter 8. Let me start from verse 8. He came to the king. He said, now go ahead and send a message to the Jews in the king's name, telling them whatever you want. Tell them whatever you want. Freedom has come. Deliverance has come. Now, an open checkbook is given. Write whatever you want. Listen to what he said. Now listen. Telling them whatever you want and seal it with the king's signet ring. But remember that whatever has already been written in the king's name and sealed with a signet ring can never be revoked. Meaning that whatever was written in the days of Haman, that he sealed it with the king's signet and the ring, is still a document. It cannot be changed. But listen to verse 9. Verse 9. Take me to verse 9. Verse 9. So, on June 25th, the king's secretaries were summoned, and a decree was written exactly as Mordecai dictated. It was sent to the Jews and to the highest officers, the governors, the nobles of all the 27 provinces, stretching from India to Ethiopia. The decree was written in the script and the languages of all the peoples of the empire, including that of the Jews. This is what I am trying to bring your mind to. Something has been written over your life. But as you dive into prayer, God will give you opportunity to write what you want. There are things that is already written. That document cannot change. But what do you want God to do for you? What are you desiring? It's Esther. Whatever is written, it cannot be revoked. Whatever has taken place in your family, it cannot be revoked. Not because of you, they have to revoke everything. No. But you, now you are born again. What do you want God to do for you? What do you want? What do you want? Whatever is written is written. By you, what do you want God to do for you? Shall we rise? Shall we rise? Listen, some of you are so complex. You are so satisfied because maybe the paycheck you are getting is okay. Maybe the overtime you are doing is okay. But have you thought of it? That the struggle you are struggling and the pain you are going through. What about your children? What about your grandchildren? What about your generation? Can you rewrite the story? Can you rewrite what you want to see in the family? What have you seen and what do you want to see? It's a true story. What have you seen and what do you want to see? Esther, whatever you have seen, the document you saw, it is good. But what do you want? Write your own story. This morning, I want us to pray. Something needs to change. Apostle, take over the prayer.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's service. It's been a blessing having you as part of our service today. We also want to invite you to our midweek service on Wednesdays. We also have our prayer time on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. God bless you. I hope that the message will continue to minister to you as and whenever you go back to listen to it. Amen.